In the popular imagination, Albert Einstein is the grandfather of science. We see him on T-shirts sticking his tongue out, a symbol of eccentric, harmless intelligence. But this caricature ignores the defining psychological trait that made him possible: his absolute, unyielding rebellion against authority. Einstein did not discover the theory of relativity by following the rules. He discovered it by breaking them. As a student, he was not the top of the class prodigy we assume. He was considered a lazy, arrogant failure by his professors. One professor told him, "You are a smart boy, Einstein, but you have one great fault: you do not let yourself be told anything." He cut classes. He antagonized his teachers. He hated the Prussian education system of late 19th century Germany, which prioritized rote memorization and military-style discipline. To Einstein, this was intellectual death. He famously said, "It is a miracle that curiosity survives formal education." He understood early on that the educational machine was designed to produce obedient workers, not visionary thinkers. His genius was not just in his math, it was in his refusal to be drilled. He viewed common sense as nothing more than the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18. To see the universe as it really was, he had to unlearn everything the authorities had told him was true. Because of his arrogance and his poor academic record, Einstein could not get a job in academia. No university would hire him. He was rejected by the establishment. In 1902, desperate for money, he took a lowly job as a patent clerk, third class, in Bern, Switzerland. History views this as a detour, but psychologically, it was his salvation. If Einstein had become a professor immediately, he would have been pressured to publish standard papers, to suck up to department heads, and to work on the safe problems of the day. He would have been assimilated into the herd. But in the patent office, he was invisible. He was an outsider. He finished his work quickly and then spent the rest of the day staring into the void, thinking about problems that the experts had declared solved. In 1905, his miracle year, he published 4 papers that changed the course of human history, proving the existence of atoms and inventing the theory of special relativity. He did this in his spare time, while his superiors thought he was just checking paperwork. This teaches us the motivationairy concept of the outsider advantage. Sometimes being rejected by the gatekeepers is the only way to bypass the gate. By being exiled from the ivory tower, Einstein was free to burn it down. How did he do it? He didn't use a lab. He didn't use a telescope. He used a psychological tool he called the Gedanken experiment, or thought experiment. The most famous of these began when he was just 16. He asked a question that broke the rules of Newtonian physics. What would happen if I chased a beam of light? If you run alongside a car at the same speed, the car appears to be stationary. So, if you run alongside light at the speed of light, shouldn't the light wave stand still? But Maxwell's equations said that was impossible. The authorities said light always moves at a constant speed. Einstein chose to trust his imagination over the textbooks. He visualized the paradox until he realized that for the speed of light to remain constant, time itself had to slow down. This is the core of his rebellion. He valued imagination over knowledge. Knowledge is limited to what we already know and understand. Imagination embraces the entire universe and all there ever will be to know. He realized that the laws of physics were just local ordinances that applied to slow-moving objects. By daring to visualize the impossible, he exposed the limitations of the accepted reality. This rebellion wasn't just professional, it was personal. Einstein cultivated a deliberate sloppiness. He famously stopped wearing socks because he found them unnecessary, and they always got holes in the toes. He let his hair grow wild. He spoke his mind on politics, pacifism, and religion, even when it was dangerous to do so. This was not just eccentricity, it was a psychological defense mechanism. He was signaling to the world, and to himself, that he did not care about social validation. He wrote, To punish me for my contempt for authority, fate made me an authority myself. He saw the irony. The man who hated the establishment became the new establishment. But even then he remained a solitary traveller. He admitted that while he loved humanity in the abstract, he struggled with actual humans. He needed solitude to function. He detached himself from the messy emotional demands of family and nation to focus entirely on the objective truth of the universe. He teaches us that to see clearly, you sometimes have to step away from the crowd. You cannot navigate by the stars if you are standing under the streetlights of public opinion. So, what is the lesson of the rebel? We live in a world that rewards conformity. We are graded on how well we follow instructions. We are promoted for hitting the metrics set by our bosses. But the people who move the world forward are the ones who question the metrics. Einstein teaches us that blind belief in authority is the greatest enemy of truth. If you want to achieve something that has never been achieved before, you cannot use the map provided by the people who came before you. You have to be willing to look like a fool. You have to be willing to fail classes. You have to be willing to sit in a patent office while your friends become professors, knowing that you are working on something they cannot yet see. The rebellion against authority is not about chaos, it is about loyalty to a higher order. Einstein did not break the rules of man because he was an anarchist, he broke them because he was loyal to the laws of nature. And nature, unlike your boss or your teacher, never lies.